In this video, I'm going to help you guide you guys to your next graphics card purchase. Whether you plan on spending $100, $200, or even up to $500, I got you guys covered. However, everything is on the monitor behind me, so let's step over there. So starting with the best $100 to $200 graphics card, and the list of cards here is pretty big, but there's only a handful of GPUs that you should really consider. Starting with the RX 6600 and the RX 6650 XT. Now currently both of these GPUs are sitting a little bit above the $200 mark, but chances are we're gonna see either one or perhaps even both of these drop below the $200 mark. But Robin, how can you be so sure about that? Well, if we go back to Black Friday back in 2019, because we can't really go back to 2020 or 2021 because of the GPU shortage, we can actually see that AMD had several GPUs at 20 and even 30% sale. Anyway, let's take a look at the performance. So both cards are able to run any game at 1080p at 60 FPS, but 1440p also runs great even on the RX 6600 base model. Let's say you have a high refresh rate, 1080p monitor, and you're playing a lot of competitive esports shooters and such, I would highly recommend looking into the RX 6650 XT. But what if you got a 1440p monitor? Well, I'm happy to say that you can actually also play at 1440p with the RX 6650 XT. And if you're gonna be able to possibly snag one at $200, which I do think that you might be able to get, that would definitely be a killer deal for sure. All that being said, for most people, if you're just looking for a banger GPU to play the latest titles, whether it be at 1080p or at 1440p, by spending as little as possible, you won't go wrong with the 6600. It is really that good. Besides these two GPUs though, there's really not that much to look into. For example, the RX 6400, the 6500 XT, the GT 1030, the GTX 750 for example, etc. These are either slow or terrible GPUs that you should stay away from no matter what. With that all being said, what about Nvidia? If you are one of those that won't touch an AMD GPU for whatever reason, and you really want an Nvidia based GPU, what do? I would definitely keep an eye on the GTX 1660 Super as well as the RTX 2060 and possibly even the the RTX 3050. But that's basically it. I actually don't think we're gonna see a massive price cut on the RTX 30 series GPUs, as Nvidia has clearly stated that they are actually planning to have the RTX 30 series GPUs to coexist alongside the RTX 40 series GPUs. And so at this point, I don't think that we're gonna see a rush in flushing out the inventory just yet. The latest leaks also suggest that we're gonna have to wait a little bit longer than expected for the RTX 3060 to be replaced. So yeah, I want you guys to keep that in mind. Anyway, in terms of performance, the 1660 Super is actually nowhere near the RX 6600. It also only carries 6 gigs of VRAM instead of 8. And so ultimately, this is not a GPU you should game at 1440p. We also then have the RTX 2060 as well as the 3050. Both of which performs fairly similar and outperforms the 1660 Super by a nice margin. But still, I would only consider these GPUs for 1080p gaming, simply because that the RTX 3050 is too weak to play at 1440p and the 2060 only carries 6 gigs of VRAM, so yeah, ultimately not ideal for 1440p gaming. So there is a chance that we're gonna see a nice price cut on these Nvidia based GPUs, but yeah, that being said, probably not gonna be as good of a deal as the RX 6600. So let's move on and talk about the best $300 to $400 graphics card. I also did mention this in my best GPUs to buy in November video. If you are belonging to Team Red, you're gonna love this because Team Red is offering some insane value at 1440p. Both the RX 6700 XT as well as the 6750 XT are brilliant GPUs that can be found for insane prices right now, but there is a great chance we're gonna see these drop even further. Now, I actually wouldn't hesitate to grab one of these if you're looking for a banger GPU for 1440p gaming. If we calculate another 20 20% price cut on these, that would put the 6700 XT at $280. Well, let's just say the 6700 XT is only selling for $300, that would actually still be a killer deal. So let's take a look at Team Green. What do they actually offer for $300 to $400? So we got the RTX 3060 Ti as well as the 3070. Now currently the 3060 Ti is sitting at $390 and the 3070 is actually sitting all the way up at $540. So let's assume that we're seeing a 30% price cut on these GPUs. That will put the 3060 Ti at $312. So would I consider it? Yes, I would definitely. If you are a dying hard Nvidia fan and you are specifically looking for features such as Nvidia Reflex, DLSS, as well as enhanced ray tracing performance, you also want Nvidia Broadcast, etc, that would definitely be valid arguments. That being said, stand against the 6700 XT, still not up to par in terms of traditional rasterization. So yeah, you definitely want to keep that in mind. What about the 3070? So assuming we see a 30% price cut on the 3070, that would put it at $430. But is it very likely? Probably not. But if it happens, would I consider it? Let's assume you need the performance and all the extra features Nvidia offers over AMD. Well, in that case, definitely yes. Otherwise, I would probably spending a few extra dollars more and get the RX 6800, which beats the RTX 3070 by good margin. I got all graphics cards mentioned with the best pricing listed down in the video description. I will make sure to update the video description with more deals as we're getting closer to Black Friday. So make sure to bookmark the video and head back on Black Friday to make sure that you grab the best graphics card deals for this year's Black Friday.